So let's talk about the Tenergy. What up? This is Ive. I always say that. I'm Ive. This is Ask Ive Solar, where I like to keep solar simple. There's been some rumblings about this Tenergy portable power station. That's how I say it. It's about a 300 watt hour power station. It has LiFePO in it, and it's on sale for less than $200. I'll have a link down in the comments. Hopefully it's still available when I get this video out to you. But people are talking about it. Somebody commented in my video like, hey, what do you think? So let me start with this. I have been aware of the Tenergy for a while. When I bought the Go Labs, the Tenergy was out there and it was an option. It wasn't an option on Amazon. About a month or two later, it became an option on Amazon. But I had already decided that the Go Labs was the better buy. Now, keep in mind, that shouldn't stop you from buying the Tenergy. But I'm just telling you what happened for me. I was trying to upgrade or replace my Boden's 166 watt hour device that I spent about $120 on. My mindset was that, wow, okay, there's these $200 LiFePO power stations. Keep in mind that Boden's was one of the first ones to have LiFePO in their devices. Nobody else did, so that's what kind of steered me towards them. I have a video about that if you want to check it out. So in looking at the Tenergy, I found that it had a couple shortcomings. One, it wasn't on Amazon. That is a shortcoming. That's not the most important shortcoming. The next shortcoming is that it has a 45 watt USB PD port. The Go Labs has a 60 watt. The Go Labs is also bi-directional. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that Tenergy I don't think is bi-directional. Also, the inverter on the R300 is better. It's a 300 watt inverter, whereas the Tenergy is a 200 watt inverter. The 200 watt inverter is a little small for me, but I mean, typically nothing uses that much power anyway. I mean, if I run an Xbox and a TV from it, Xbox uses about 100 watts, and the TV that I have a TCL 32 inch. It uses about 15 to 20 watts. So when my son is gaming, I could power it from that. Now, somebody in this group that I'm in pointed out that the Tenergy, I think she had the Tenergy and the Go Labs. She said the Tenergy is not as quirky as the Go Labs. It works a little bit better. For example, the Go Labs has a weird voltage range for solar. So you often get an error code when you plug in a solar panel. It goes away because it settles, which is good. I'm glad that they do that. But I don't think that Tenergy has that issue. I believe that they charge at the same rate because I'm looking at the DC input and it says basically 15 volts by 3 amps, which is 45 watts. That is typically what you get from these devices. My Boden's charges at 45 watts. The Tenergy charges at 45 watts from the wall. The Go Labs charges at about 45 watts or 42 watts from the wall. So the solar charging is probably going to be very similar. It's either going to be about 45 watts or it's going to max out at about 50 watts. So they're very comparable. I'm the kind of person where I like to get the best bang for my buck. Even with the R300 and its quirks, I still chose that one because of that bi-directional charging. If you watch any of the videos about the R300 that I've made a couple. That bi-directional charging is very important to me because it was a supplementary power station. I have the EcoFlow. Right now I have the EB70. I was mainly going to charge that power station from other power stations. And it's good that you can charge it from solar, and I do too. I put it on a 50 watt panel. I put it on my newly acquired SunPower 50 watt panel. I put it on a 100 watt panel, so on and so forth. As far as I can tell, it does have a decent display. I don't own the device, so I can't really tell you about it comparatively, but I do see that it has a percentage indicator and it has a watt indicator. I don't know if that shows you watts coming in and out, but ultimately, should you buy the Tenergy? Absolutely. The R300 is not even in stock. Are you as picky as me? Probably not. So you'll probably be happy with it. There's some other technical specifications that could be different. I haven't dove that deep into it because, the main things that matter for me are the things that I discussed in this video, but you could keep doing it. You can look at how many volts or amps the 5521 ports are rated at. You could look at how many amps the cigarette plug is rated at. One thing I do think that somebody said is that the cigarette port on the Tenergy is not as shallow as the Go Labs. The Go Labs provides you with an extra adapter because their 12 volt port is so shallow. So people who had DC fridges, they couldn't keep the plug in, it would pop out. Those DC fridges plugs are pretty long. So the question that's most appropriate at this point is, would you buy the Tenergy or would you buy the Go Labs? But you can't even buy the Go Labs, so what would you do? I'm fine with it. All right, it's Ive. Holla.